All right, motion to return to open session.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So moved. Okay, so we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Welcome everyone to Select Board meeting of June 18th, 2024. Got a few announcements that I'm going to do at the beginning this time instead of in the middle like I did last week. The Grafton Farmers Market will have their opening day tomorrow at the Common. The hours of operation are from 2 until 6 p.m. The Grafton Historical Society is going to hold their 56th annual Antique and Arts Fair from 9 to 3 this Thursday, June 22nd at the Common. They might still be looking for volunteers, I'm not entirely sure, but you can reach out to them. The Grafton 4th of July Parade is rapidly approaching, and the parade committee is still looking for participants. If you have a big truck, a cool car, or even a sweet bicycle you'd like to show off, please consider volunteering. The committee is also looking for parade day volunteers to help with setup and tear down. This year's parade is Thursday, July 4th, and will reach the Common at about 10 a.m., where the event continues with fun for all ages, including candy, coloring pages, and activities, along with food trucks from Anzio's Brick Oven Pizza and Kona Ice. Please contact Grafton 4th of July Parade at gmail.com to sign up or to request more information. The MDI Wayfinding Grant Advisory Committee needs your help choosing a design for our town-wide wayfinding and branding plan. Visit www.grafton/ma.gov to vote for your favorite design. I believe I've also seen it on Facebook pages, so hop on there. It's a very quick little thing. It'll take you no time at all. The Select Board and the Town Administrator are looking for interested individuals to fill vacancies on several boards and committees. Please apply via email to taoffice@grafton-ma.gov. Use our online portal or send a letter of interest to the Town Administrator's office at 30 Providence Road, Grafton, Mass. 01519. And before we start with the joint meeting, I just wanted to make one other announcement. I would like to assure the residents of Grafton that your Select Board is aware of the arrest and allegations against former Select Board Chair Bruce Spinney. While we do not believe any of these allegations involve the town of Grafton, the town will be conducting an internal audit and review of any transactions which may be relevant to these investigations. The board has no further information on this matter at this time. We will be following the proceedings as information is made available. And with that being said, we're going to open our joint meeting with the planning board. And so you guys, yep.
I'll convene the planning board. Is Prabhu present on internet? Apparently not. Is Fiona out there? Apparently not. I think she was going to join us. Okay, so we don't need to do,
Roll call.
we don't need to do roll
You can
call.
dispense with a roll call.
We can dispense with a roll call, which means that it's time for us to go into talking to our candidates.
Great. Yeah, so we'll give the opportunity for both candidates to just say a few words and introduce themselves to us and let us know about their interest. And then we can go from there. So is Brian, I think Brian was going to be in person. Yep. Hi, Brian.
Brian Langevin, 4 Millstone Drive. So for the most part, I think I said everything I wanted to say about my personal background and experience in my letter, but obviously open to any questions anybody may have. Just looking for a next opportunity to serve the town.
Anybody on the select board have any questions?
Just currently, could you just, Brian, go through what you're currently involved in?
Sure. So right now, nothing on the town side. So I just wrapped up with the bylaw study committee, our work last fall. And so nothing else on my plate right now in town front.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone on the planning board have any questions?
I don't have any questions. I spent the better part of a year and a half working with Brian in the bylaw study committee, so I think I know him pretty well in terms of what I think of his qualifications.
You realize that it's not really an easy job,
No.
and it requires attendance because of the way the voting rules go.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
And Greg, I believe you are online?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. Yeah, and apologies for not being there in person. We're on a family vacation that was planned before I found out about this opportunity. But, the short version is moved to Grafton about a year ago. My wife grew up in Shrewsbury all her life. My in-laws live in Grafton, and our family just fell in love with the town. We live right on North Street by the Common, and I'm looking for ways to get involved. I mean, we plan to raise our children here, plan to be here for a really long time, and so I'm interested in how Grafton will be able to grow, but also preserve its heritage. So, my background is in finance. I've worked in investments. I've worked with a lot of startup companies. I've managed councils and run operations teams. So I hope to bring that skill set as well as just a fresh perspective as a new resident who plans to be here for a long time to the board.
Great, thank you. Anyone on the select board have any questions or comments? Planning board?
No questions?
Thank you both for stepping up. Great candidates.
Yeah.
So can I make a motion?
Sure.
That we appoint Greg, since he's new to Grafton, to the associate member seat?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Greg has a year in town, right? And Brian has extensive, 5 years in town or more, and has worked on committees and whatnot. Given what we do, I'd be happy with either one of them, but I'm more on Brian's side of it.
Yeah, my preference would be Brian. Again, as I said, I've gotten to know Brian and how Brian works and how Brian, the mindset he brings to things and the attention to detail and his familiarity with bylaws in general. So I think Brian's experience works better for this. I really appreciate both gentlemen applying for this. I mean, we could use more people who want to get involved, and there are other opportunities. And I kind of, it's unfortunate that we have to pick one out of two people who are both interested in serving. But
Yes.
Along with Bob, my preference would be for Brian.
I'll say this, I'm not serving with either one of these gentlemen, but it is nice to see new people step forward, as you said, David. So it's like, and Brian has had an opportunity to serve, and I'm sure he will have an opportunity again if he doesn't get to serve on the planning board at this moment in time. But it's nice to see people step forward, and we certainly want to encourage people to do that. So although reading their letters that they both submitted, they both seem like highly qualified people that would enjoy the work and be able to contribute once they learned how it all worked, like we all have to do when we start on a board, like I had to do. So I think both would be great, and I'm glad you both want to volunteer for the town. I'll just say that it's great to have you both.
Well, can I just speak? Because I think, having just served as associate member, I was a new member to Grafton. I didn't know enough about the town. getting to serve in the associate member seat was really great for me because it got me very involved. And yeah, it's a lot of studying and you have to do a lot of reading. You need to be prepared for the meetings. But what better place to learn than an associate member seat? And that's why having read both, I thought, well, obviously this is a new person. They're going to be great learning in that associate member seat. So, I just think it's a good opportunity there. And so that's why I was thinking, great, remember, let's get them on board and let's get them learning about the town.
Was there a second on the motion?
Yeah. Anyone else? I'll just not to pile on, but reiterate that it's great to have two folks who are here for less than 5 years, coming out for this role. And I think I agree with Andre that it's a perfect role in terms of the associate member, to dip your toe. And for whatever happens, there are some other boards and committees that have openings, so I hope that either of you will consider the other things that are available as well.
Madam Chair.
Mr. Jefferson?
But we have different ways of, every time we do one of these, we do it differently. Sometimes you have all the nominations that you want, and then each person votes for the person they want, as opposed to yes or no
Okay.
on the standing motion. If that's okay.
Given that it's just two people, it would kind of be the same difference,
Well,
whichever way. we
No,
do it.
because you vote no, and then
Okay,
you have to have another, and hopefully you'll get,
I
Yeah,
see.
There's a
Okay.
motion.
Yeah, you already have a motion on the floor, and I would recommend staying with that, and that's how we've been doing it. Not to say this is how we always do it, but we've been doing it that way for as long as I've been here, and it's worked out okay. That we accept the motion, then you deliberate, then you vote, and if the vote fails, then you make a secondary motion or a tertiary motion, depending on what you need to do.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jefferson.
Yeah, I, again, also having served on the bylaw study committee, would reiterate, I think, what Mr. Robbins shared. I don't mean this in a derogatory sense. I don't think that, the qualification that somebody's been here less than a year is a sole good reason to appoint them. I am thrilled that we had two applicants. It's always a difficult conversation and decision when we have to do this. And I hope similarly to everybody else that either applicant who isn't chosen will hopefully apply for something else in the future. Having read through his letter, what he does professionally and having worked with him on one committee previously, I would lean towards Brian in this vote as well. To me, and it's unfortunate that I don't know Greg better. Brian is somebody who is just methodical and detail oriented, and I think built for the planning board. I think he'll be a fantastic fit.
Anything further?
No.
Oh. All right, so we have a motion on the floor that was seconded. We can do this, I guess, by roll call. Should we do it by board, or does that matter?
I think it's all of us.
Yeah, okay. So, Mr. Robbins?
Nay.
Ms. Bresnahan?
Aye.
Mr. Assinger?
Nay.
Mr. Alamo?
Aye.
Mr. Dauphiné?
Aye.
And Mr. Jefferson?
Nay.
And Foley will be aye. And so motion carries. 4-3.
A motion.
To appoint.
So, the motion to appoint Greg, the motion that was made to appoint
I don't
Greg.
think so. It was
Muller. Sorry?
4-4, right?
I had 1, 2, 3.
There are only 7 people.
Yeah.
Hmm?
We're
There's
missing,
7 people.
we're
so it's
missing
4 to
quite a
3.
few people.
Yeah, nay is 4, right? There was a nay.
Three. There were three
It
nays.
was 4-3.
It's 4-3.
And,
Oh,
and
I thought I heard nay.
you did, but
Mhm.
you heard 3 ayes over here.
And
And
one eye over there is for.
No.
She made the motion, yeah, and she.
She voted aye.
Motion.
And
What
we
did you,
voted aye.
no, but what,
She voted aye.
oh, I thought I heard you say nay.
Well,
That's
I said
okay.
aye, but I also made the motion, so.
She said, no, I didn't hear it.
Okay.
You get a vote.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. So again, thank you both, Brian and Greg, and please, consider other positions. There are a few that are of importance as well.
And Greg, you'll get a letter from my office. This is the TA. And you can go get sworn in with the town clerk once you receive that.
He needs to be
Excellent.
sworn in
Thank you very much.
before our next meeting in order to qualify for being.
I certainly will.
Okay, thanks, Greg.
Move that the planning board meeting here be adjourned.
A second.
Andrea
I
seconded.
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 I think you just have to be louder.
That,
Yeah.
that,
Well, I should.
that motion's not debatable. All in favor? Aye.
Oh, that's how you guys roll. It is different than us.
Yep. I'll do it.
I think we're done.
Oh, good. Okay. It's like,
I mean, obviously, we're all welcome to stay here if we want,
Yeah, of course.
but our business is done.
All right, and so we will move on to our joint meeting, and thank you for coming in, everybody. Joint meeting with the Finance Committee.
Yeah, and thank you, Brian.
Yeah, thank you for sure.
Stay with it. We need you.
Okay, I call this meeting of the Finance Committee to order at 7:16 PM. In person, we have Kyle, excuse me, we have Skip and Dan online, and Victoria and myself in person. We have 5 members, so we do have a quorum, so we're all set.
Skip. Skip, you look great on TV. I just want to let you know that. You look great. He's muted.
Okay, so we are.
Yeah, he's muted for once.
And so we're talking about the year-end fiscal interfund transfers. And
Mary,
Mary gonna cue us
do you want to cue us up, Mary?
Yeah, hi everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
Everybody's doing well. So I have a list of internal transfers. And so we can start, and I'll just go through, I'll give you a synopsis of what we're doing. So I'm gonna start in the beginning with the capital. I did some capital transfers. We received a grant for a portion of the highway Ventrac. So there was some significant savings there. The Grafton Historic Society and the mini excavator, they both came in under what was allocated. So I took those that money and I allocated it towards other capital items that had some shortfalls, such as the highway truck 26 that came in over at $23,000. And the same thing happened with our engineering and recreational department vehicles. There were shortfalls for those vehicles. So I transferred over there. And then going down the list, there was savings in the veterans benefits. We budget $60,000 a year. And so there was some savings this year. There wasn't a lot of veterans that applied or needed the benefits. So I had $37,000. And so I transferred over to the vet wage salary line. All the salary changes are due to either contractual increases, we had some new hires, and just employees transferring to other departments per their contract. So there's those are for the salary. I was looking for an additional $6,000 in the accounting for the forecast. My coffee rental, I have an additional lease for the payroll and benefits department, treasurer and collecting department. There were increases in the mailings and postage and tax title expenses. Planning and Board of Health, the overtime, that was not budgeted enough this year. Legal, I put in a $10,000 placeholder for June billing. I have not received June billing. Cemetery seasonal labor, that was a request from Paul Canoyer. The interest sewer, that was a budgeting error. IT maintenance and the municipal repairs, those are increases for any cost incurred for the month of June. There was also increases for the inspection, in-state travel and communications for their new hire. And then we received a request from the fire chief. He wanted to move the training up to the salary, the training expense up to the training salary.
Hey,
And
Mayor-
so I am requesting a total transfer of $287,221.30.
Mary, what's the MC wages
That's one of mine.
to the MC
Oh.
repairs and maintenance?
Yeah, so that's the municipal building staff, that's our custodians. And again, so there was some employees that left and we didn't hire. I think we had a hard time hiring, so there was nobody in that position for like 3 months.
Okay. Yeah, I knew what it was. I just wanted to make sure that.
It was one of mine.
Okay.
I wrote down,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you, Mary.
I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
So the recreation vehicle that was like a partial, you replaced a vehicle or?
Yeah, so we replaced 3 former Cruiser Explorers with 3 Chevy Equinoxes. Our original plan was to buy 3 Ford Mavericks, which are cheaper. They were listed in the bid list at like 25,000, and we waited for 9 months for them to get delivered, and Ford canceled our order. And we just could not get vehicles. We weren't ordering enough vehicles to hold our place in line. So we were able to grab these 3 Equinoxes, but they were about 6,000-ish more
Okay.
than the Mavericks were slated to be.
And then you're selling off those somewhere on,
We gave them to the school department,
okay.
and we kept one for maintenance. Maintenance still uses it to move trash and tow a trailer around and stuff.
So 2 to the schools and then 1.
The one we still have here, but it won't be here forever. It's in rough shape. It's good for around the campus and moving trash.
And then just the selectmen department OT. It's just a small number. I know it's $213, but just curious what it was.
That's Amber,
Just
right?
some- Yeah, just
Okay.
a little overtime.
Overtime here. Okay.
Yep,
And ER wage? I forget what I saw.
that's the election and registrars. So
Okay.
we budget every year like it's a presidential election. So there are significant savings in that department.
Oh, I see. Yep.
And remind me, the fire training instructor versus the permanent wages, that those funds were earmarked for the exact same purpose. This is just moving accounts and what they're labeled as.
Right.
Correct.
Yep.
Instead of hiring someone, an outside vendor to do the training, we have in-house training. So we're just moving the money from the expense up to the salary to support that.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the room? Skip or Dan? Anything else?
No,
Just last, Mary, CC, administrative personnel? What's that? What's a CC?
That's the conservation
Okay.
department.
Okay, thanks.
So yes, and an employee was reclassified.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Alamo.
I move the board vote to approve the proposed interfund transfers for the fiscal year 2024 in the amount of $287,221.30.
Second.
Any further discussion? And how do we vote? Can we all vote or
Just a
vote
combined
by-
vote
Combined
Yeah.
vote by roll call.
by, because
Okay,
there
so
are
we'll
people remotely.
vote by roll call. Yep, thank you. Victoria?
Aye.
And I'm sorry,
Kyle.
Kyle, yeah.
Aye.
Okay. Mr. Jefferson?
Jefferson, I.
Mr. Dauphiné?
Dauphiné, aye.
Alamo?
Alamo, aye.
Mr. Marr?
Aye.
Mr. Courier?
That was
He said I
Mute, kiddo.
Aye. How many buttons on this screen?
Mr. Kusher?
All right.
Aye.
Fully
Pesky
aye.
buttons,
So
man,
it
I'll tell
passes
you, they
unanimously.
get every time.
Okay, so,
Thank you, everyone.
thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Mary.
Thank you, Mary.
Where's your computer, Skip?
You laying on your back or you?
But, no. Well, so, all right, now how about this?
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have asked.
See, there we go.
How's that better?
Yeah.
I
Yes,
can't see you
actually,
guys now.
much.
Yeah.
No,
Sorry,
I'll go sit on the back porch again.
They have not dissolved yet.
Committee have something else that
We
you
have two reserve transfer
Oh,
requests.
sorry.
Go
We
ahead.
need to review. So the first reserve fund transfer request is to the Veterans Advisory Account for the amount of $3,000 for updating the Veterans Memorial Plaque. The total cost of the project is $11,000 and there is an $8,000 grant. So we have $3,000 they'd like us to cover. Do we have anyone to talk about that or?
I can.
Okay.
So we have a veteran in town. His name's Andy Shelberg, and he's been working for years on discovering veterans that were never listed and their appropriate plaques or given the right acknowledgement in cemetery when we have Memorial Day events and things like that. And so Andy's been working with the folks on the Veterans Advisory Committee to identify Vietnam veterans, and I gather we have about 150 Vietnam veterans that'll be added to the a new plaque in the Veterans Memorial Hallway. So I think it's a great thing. Veterans Advisory had come to me to support them on their grant, and I said that if they got the grant, we'd find them whatever the balance above was. Yeah, I think it's a pretty short investment for a pretty great thing.
Yeah.
So
Need a motion?
This is
just
us.
Just us.
says a hand
Oh,
on.
just-
Just gotta-
Yeah, Dan?
They're in session,
Yeah.
that's gonna finish.
So I noticed it says there's a balance in that account. I'm not sure. So does that mean that there's $1,826.41 in there? Is there a reason that wouldn't be used, and then we would just kind of cover the remainder of that?
So as I understand it, and Mary, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's already earmarked for something else.
Okay,
Correct.
It just hasn't caught up
Okay.
to the accounting software currently.
got it. Thanks.
Okay, any further discussion? Entertain a motion to approve the reserve transfer request in the amount of $3,000.
So moved.
Second. Okay, any discussion? Seeing none by roll call, Kyle? Aye. Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
He walked away.
There he is.
Skip, do you approve, you vote yes?
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry, I
Dan?
had to let the dog in.
Dan?
Aye.
And Greg votes aye, declare the motion carried unanimously. Okay, second reserve fund transfer request, is from the police department, for the amount of $1,030 to cover the remaining balance for the summer flags for poles along Providence Road. The flag gift account has 1,143 balance that will be, applied. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the reserve fund transfer request in the amount of $1,030.
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay, any discussion? Seeing none by roll call, Kyle?
Aye.
Victoria?
Aye.
Skip?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
And Greg votes aye. Thank you. Okay. Seeing as how we have no further business before us tonight, I now declare the meeting adjourned.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Having a wonderful night, kids.
Thank you, Skip.
Thanks.
Night,
Thank
FinCom.
you.
See you next year.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Mary.
It's a fiscal year.
And definitely thank you, Skip.
Mm-hmm.
For the entertainment.
Yes. I needed that.
Yeah. He's always good with it.
Okay.
Funny guy.
I got it.
Okay, so, we can move along. Appointments, TA Fire Chief, we have none, so we'll move on to new business. And the first thing up is the Grafton Flea Market change of business hours. Evan, do you want to talk about this at all, or basically
No.
from what it, no?
I don't understand all of it. There was a whole bunch of back and forth today in the office. So essentially, the certificate of no appeal that was written by the town clerk had an error in it that denoted that the planning board had voted to allow the restaurant to open Monday through Friday, 11 to 9, but as I take it, that's not what the zoning board actually voted. They voted to
Yeah, the applicant withdrew that request during the public hearing process.
So otherwise, it's allow the flea market to operate on Saturdays from 11 to December 25th, and to allow the beer garden to open on Saturdays from April 1st to December 25th. Is that what we're talking about? Correct?
It sounds.
Yes.
Yeah. So tonight we're looking at adding Saturdays, essentially, to the flea market and the restaurant, correct? And I assume you're the applicant?
Yes.
Okay. Did you guys wanna,
So the restaurant is allowed to open Monday to Friday, right? No. So
No.
what should I do? Because I want to open the restaurant, from Monday to Friday.
so that will have to go to the ZBA, so the zoning board of appeals, it sounds from what we have here, that you withdrew that request,
Okay.
and maybe that was an error, but you would go through the zoning board of appeals for that.
Okay.
For
So
Monday through Friday, Saturday. Sorry, Monday through Friday, the restaurant, that would be-
now I have to reapply, right?
correct?
Yes,
The
the
ZBA?
zoning board,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, okay. Because it's kind of confusing in
Sure.
the thing. It say I'm allowed, and then I say, why would I withdraw the application if it's allowed? So
Right.
it's an error, right? So
Yes.
now
they-
I have to go to the.
Yeah, the zoning board didn't actually take that vote, even though it says it in this.
Yeah, but that's why I'm here to
certificate
ask,
of no appeal.
because I don't want it just to open and then,
Right.
get in trouble. That's why I want
Yeah,
to be here to vet.
understood.
Yeah. So I have to go and reapply, right?
To the zoning board, correct?
Okay.
For that part.
So what do I have to do now? Go to apply to, who should I talk to? Like, what process do I need to?
So what we're voting on tonight is extending that you would be able to open on Saturdays.
Yeah, because I've been open, I'm sorry, I did open
We
beginning.
already got
Yeah, we
approved
didn't know, so I opened on Saturday when I find out that I have to be here, so I want to make sure I'm okay with Saturday, right?
And that would be the restaurant and the flea market.
Yes, and then, but for the Monday to Friday, I have to, go to the ZBA,
Correct.
and, so who should I ask to see what kind of thing I have to do?
To fill out for them.
Yep, so what I would recommend is you could speak to Katrina in the zoning office.
Yes.
And then if there's any confusion, please come to our office and talk to Amber or Cindy.
Oh, okay.
You know Cindy.
Yeah,
I've seen you in the office a number of
Yes.
times. And we can help you navigate the
Oh,
process
okay.
and just.
So I'll go see Katrina and then Cindy
Yep,
and then, okay.
Yep, and we had talked to Katrina today. Well, I say we, I wasn't even in there. Amber talked to Katrina today, and so she would be expecting you.
Oh, okay,
At some point whenever you're able to come in.
sure.
Okay.
I have one
And-
question.
Yep.
Just with the beer garden, so when you open the restaurant, if you get the approval to open the restaurant Monday through Saturday or whenever you want to
Yes.
do it, are you gonna want to be able to operate the beer garden or sell liquor inside, beer inside the restaurant during those hours, or are you gonna it's gonna be non-alcoholic, just food?
If I apply for the beer, I have to go to the AAA, right? What do you call it? Like, no,
Well, you
I
have a beer and wine license
Yeah.
currently, right?
Yep.
It's been there
Right.
for probably 5 or 6 years now. So what you would have to do is probably, because it says in here you can only sell beer when the flea market is open until 5 p.m., not
Yeah.
after 5. So you're gonna have to change that, or at least approach the town about of changing it. If you wanna be able to sell beer in the restaurant, and if you're gonna be open all week, then you need to change the permit that you currently have, because it
Okay, so
doesn't
maybe,
include.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
and Cindy would help you with that too.
Oh.
Cindy primarily does the
Yeah.
licenses. I mean, we can help too, but she's the resident expert on that. And I know she's worked with you on a number of other things to change. So you would be going through the ABCC process
Yeah, a
again.
bit too much and then just.
Yeah, I get through all
No,
that
I
part.
think I'm gonna just
But
stay
your
with-
your first step would be to apply for a change of your permit with the town. Cindy can help you do that, or Amber can help you do that, and then we have to do an abutters notice and all that stuff, and then you would come here.
Yeah.
We would vote. Well, they would vote yay or nay. Hopefully yay, and then you would be off to the ABCC.
I mean, you already have it for Sundays. It would
Yeah, it
just
wouldn't
be
be a-
expanding it, so
Yeah,
you
not
already
a
have the
substantial
license, so it'd just be changing, you know, some of the parameters around it, but
We have it for Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday, so yeah,
Right.
so it'd just be during the week. So it's good to see that you're gonna use it more though, cause that space is empty so much, right?
Right.
So
And
it'd be great
I
to
can't
see
just count
that,
on Sunday because when it's rain, you know, I'm fine with the rain.
Yeah.
And the weather has not been cooperating, you know, I mean,
right?
it's just been
Yeah,
really
you buy
bad.
food, right, and then, you know,
Yeah, a lot of people lose money. Everybody lose money. The vendors, you know, I hate to see that they pay me, but you know, I mean, and
They don't sell.
And also, I just want to, kind of thinking about expanding the building, like double the size of the building. Is that, you know, something,
Doable.
Yeah, so that would be also with the building department. I would contact them and just make sure there's nothing that would impede you from doing that. I don't think any of us have enough information about the site or your setbacks or any of that to give you an answer tonight, but the building department could certainly help you look that up and figure out if you were able to expand.
okay, so I have to talk to Bob, the building inspector?
you have to, yes.
Oh, okay.
The building department in general, Tracy is in there, she could also help you, and Bonnie can help you set something up to meet with somebody to kind of go through what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, because I want to find out, you know, how much I can really, you know, I mean, but
Right.
just because if I can only do half of what I'm having right now, it's not really worth it, you know, because right now we have about 10,000 square feet. And if I can just do 5,000 square feet, then it's just not really helping that much, you know?
Right.
Because I want to open double the size, so even if it's rain, people still can come because we have enough vendors inside. Because right now, you know, it rained, the vendor inside lose money because nobody comes, you know?
Right.
So,
Yep, and we can help you connect with the right people, you know, just in my office if you want to make one stop, and then we'll help you get to intros in every other department. No problem.
okay.
So any further discussion on the board?
Nope.
Mr. Alamo?
Madam Chair, I move the board vote to allow the Grafton Flea Market and its restaurant to operate on Saturdays now through December 25th, 2024.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And so the motion carries 4-0. So you're all set for the flea
Yeah.
market and restaurant opening on, you're adding Saturdays?
Yes.
And then sounds like maybe your next stop may be the zoning board of appeals, Katrina, to look into the Monday to Friday.
Okay.
And then maybe after that, you go to the building department to see about the
Okay.
expansion.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right, thank you very much, all.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Best of luck.
Have a nice evening.
Okay. Next up, considering a vote to extend Waste Zero trash metering agreement.
Yep, so this is your trash bags. And it's time to renew the contract. So we have gone and looked at, just so that we're all above board, we have gone and looked at other vendors. We do get complaints about the bags. The other vendors are either not cost effective for us to be able to continue to run the pay-as-you-throw program, or the quality did not seem substantially better. We also looked at one vendor that's actually the exact same product from the same factory, so that didn't do us any good. You know, there's only so many polymer or plastic extruding companies making these custom bags. So we'd like to stay with Waste Zero until so July 1, 2024 till June 30th, 2026. And then just to be fully transparent, we are going to be having a conversation about the trash program in general and changes that we may need to look at because of the cost of recycling and everything else. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Any questions from the board?
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
go ahead, Andy.
So this is exercising the second 2-year option in our current contract, and the final option?
Yes, however, I do want to note that per town meeting vote, we are allowed to do a 10-year agreement, so we can renew up to 10 years with this company. We don't just rubber stamp that. We have a process and we look at other vendors and all that, but we can pretty much continue to do that. We would just require a new contract. But to your point, yes, that's where we are in the contract.
So as far as the bag price, I see it in the old contract, but I don't see it. Is the bag price staying the same? I saw the fee, they have some kind of a service.
Yep.
Fee
So-
that gone up.
Yep. So year one, you'll see it is on of the packet. It's on page 23. Contract year one is 8608 for large bags, a case of them, and a small case is 5108. Year two is listed as TBD. We don't have an agreement yet on what that would look like. And based on inflation, I don't think we're gonna get that, which is why we've been adjusting our prices. So that's what we have so far. You could, as a board, consider to do a 1 year. I have not seen in the market a appreciable difference that what the TBD number is going to be much better.
That 8608, that's per
Per
case.
case, right?
All right, and back in 2019, when the board signed the contract, it was 54.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going up like 10-12% every year.
Yep. Which is one of the reasons why we're going to have a broader conversation about pay as you throw versus other options that are out there. So because we can't keep pace with the costs of inflations of the bags versus the inflation that we see on our tipping fee versus everything else.
So, and this is, you checked around, this is a competitive number, because
It's yes,
looking at this, it's going up like at a pretty quick rate.
Yes,
you know.
Agreed.
And we just voted not too long ago, we increased the bag fees.
In anticipation of this.
Just to keep pace.
Because what we're trying to do is keep bag fees 50% of the cost of the program. So when I had got here, we were at about 34%. So we've been adjusting. Now we're at 52% for this year with those numbers, and then next year, if all things remain equal and the curve stays where it is, we would be at 50%.
There is some alternatives to doing it this way.
Yes. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
And how long is this contract for?
This is to 26.
Okay. All right.
Which I don't honestly think we would be able to make a full
Right. It's gonna
integrated
take time
switch over
to-
before
yeah.
26.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
I would not be here with a 3-year contract, even if that was allowable, because I do want to have a serious conversation about how we're handling this.
Okay.
That was going to be my follow-up, was how we, if we decide to transition into something else, about how long you predicted that would take, and if we need to get out of this.
Right. So I've already made arrangements with E.L. Harvey to give us some other options and some estimated costs so that we can have a fairly educated discussion about how we're handling municipal solid waste and recycling in the town of Grafton. And then also, does it result in a cost savings? How would we finance it? Is it a user-based fee? There's a lot of different things. So they've already done kind of the background legwork. And we are going to meet last Friday, which hasn't happened. So I had something come up. So we're going to meet in the next couple of weeks, and then I'll be able to come here with a more concise idea of what we should be talking about.
Thank you.
Yep.
And I'll just add, Evan and I just were talking about with the composting program and just doing another blast on that, not just for curbside composting, which the town did hop in, and just so that people know they're still offering the free bin and free bags for a year if people sign up. But additionally, at the town DPW, we're doing just regular composting bins, right? Not the pay-as-you
Yeah, backyard
go type thing,
composters, yeah.
so that we're gonna do another kind of big push on that and have them up here so people can see. It's just another means to try to reduce tonnage.
Yep.
All right, any other discussion?
Nope.
I'll hear a motion. Mr.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Allen.
I move the board vote to extend the trash metering agreement with Waste Zero and authorize the chair to sign.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
All right, thank you, everybody.
And moving along to local equity in cannabis.
Oh, yeah, that's me.
To you, Mr.
Yeah.
Messes.
So, thank you, Madam Chair. The Cannabis Control Commission in October of '23 voted to adopt revised regulations around cannabis in the state of Massachusetts, both for medical and for recreational. Collectively, the changes are known as the social equity requirements. And so what they've done is put in some mandates that we have to meet by July 1 of this year, which for full transparency, we're not going to make. The potential downside to us not making that is a financial imposition from the state in the amount of what we get from our host agreements, which last year was $1,200. So it didn't seem like we really needed to, we wanted to see this shake out before we rushed into it. And I'm glad we did, because now we've seen what other towns have adopted, what the state's kind of been pushing. So to me, I don't think we're going to get a fee imposed on us, but if we did, it's $1,200, and we can live with that to make a more informed decision. So there are two basic areas in which the state has outlined where we need to comply. One is presumptive compliance actions, and one is additional equity requirements. So the additional equity requirements we have to do no matter what. The upfront presumptive compliance actions are where we have some options. And so there's three options laid out by the state. The first one is to adopt a bylaw to exclusively permit social equity businesses for 3 years or until the goals of the exclusivity period have been met. I know we'll get there, but it's very complicated. The second one is adopt the model bylaw created by the commission to permit social equity businesses. And the third way is to create a local approval process for equity applicants that is administered on a one-to-one basis, where the general applicant may be approved only after social equity businesses have commenced operations. So basically, you'd have to be starting from scratch. We would have to have no businesses here already permitted, and then give social equity applicants a time period in which they would be solely operating in the community, and then add non-social equity people. So after talking to Ivrea Freed at Harrington Heap, her recommendation is that the town adopt the model bylaw that is presented by the Cannabis Control Commission. It seems to be the way that 95% of the other communities have already started to go. I would also note that impact to Grafton is fairly low, because we don't really have any new facilities on the horizon. The ones that are open are already open. So it doesn't seem like it's going to be much of an impact for here. I think elsewhere in the state is probably going to be a bigger impact, where they have shuffling of owners, but we haven't really seen that here. That said, can I move on to the second bucket? And I'm going to read from here because I have not memorized this yet. So under social equity requirements, which is that second bucket, we have to exercise transparency, which we already do. However, there are A through F items that we have to tick off to be transparent under the CCC's approval process. And we have to basically publicize certain information in a conspicuous location at its office and on its website. So I think that's actually a pretty low hanging fruit for us. We already have that information. We can publish it. Second, we have to develop an equity plan to promote and encourage full participation in the regulated cannabis industry by individuals from communities disproportionately harmed by cannabis prohibition and enforcement. So basically, i.e. the war on drugs, there are 28 communities, I believe it is, that are disproportionately impacted by the war on drugs. And so we would need a plan to promote participation from those areas, which again, I don't think we're going to see. And just to be clear, in my conversation with Ms. Freed, I think we already have all of that put together. It's just a matter of bundling it in the way it needs to be bundled. Part 3 is a host community agreement to process grading matrix. Again, we're not going to reinvent this wheel, but essentially what we have to do is if the board is presented with another request for a host community agreement, we have to use this matrix that is part of the HCA negotiation, which will skew the HCA award towards a social equity applicant. Number 4 is reservation of licenses. We already have that. That's long-standing in our bylaw. We redid that in 2021. So we're actually okay there already. A positive improvement plan, which is adopting a plan to positively impact at least one of the communities listed below, which are past or present residents of the geographic disproportionately impacted area, state designated economic EEA. Why did I just lose that? Economic, used to be an economic opportunity area, but they changed the name of it. So I don't remember what the new one is. It's economic. Yeah. Bob will edit that in later. Dub me over knowing what I'm talking about. State designed SEP participants, Massachusetts residents who have past drug convictions, and Massachusetts residents with parents or spouses who have drugs convictions. So far, we don't know of anyone that has adopted that plan in the state of Massachusetts yet. And then notification. So we have to create a login to the new CCC portal, but it's not ready. So we don't have to do that yet. What's that?
The portal, that is.
The portal that we're mandated to be in. Yeah. So I know it's a lot to take in. There's a lot of different moving parts. We're also on the front end of new regulation from the CCC, so it's a little bit of kind of wait and see what some of the other communities do to tackle this, and predominantly some of the bigger communities, how they tackle it. So again, I don't think that we're in any kind of major rush. We don't have any applicants on the horizon, and we don't have really anything to lose in any major way. So what I would recommend is that at upcoming board meetings, we start to tackle some of this. We'll put together, obviously, the plan on our side, but I would like the board's kind of general direction that we would head in the area of the model bylaw already created by the CCC, so that we can start to create that and for a vote in the October town meeting. Unless somebody has a different idea of which direction to head.
This has nothing to do with zoning. This is just cannabis policy.
Correct. Yeah.
For Grafton.
Right. So we already have a cannabis bylaw in place, and this would be an addition to that section.
This is for the current stores to be in compliance with, and then, no, the future.
Not really. Yep.
Us, really.
Right. It really, unless we get some applicants that need a new HCA or a different HCA, or we get a company, because we have 2 operating right now. Somebody comes in and says, we're going to take over MJ's Market. We want to negotiate an HCA. That's when this would need to be in effect.
I just have a question, like, where is this stemming from, do you think?
I think that's above my pay grade. So in what I've been able to gather and watching some of the CCC hearings, it seems like this is a push at the state government level to do social equity programming. I do know that the disproportionately impacted towns by the war on drugs, that's been around since pretty much the inception of recreational cannabis in the state of Massachusetts, and there have been different provisions for those towns that fall into that catchment. However, this social equity process does appear to have started with the current governor's administration, but I am no way an expert on the politics of how that got here.
All right, more to come, right?
Yeah, everybody's
So we
okay
feel
with moving
comfortable?
forward with the
Yeah.
model bylaw. It doesn't have to be a formal vote, but we'll start working in that direction and see where we get to. Yeah,
Is it you, that's where you think we should go?
I really do. It seems like that's where most of the other communities are going,
Yeah.
and I always, not saying we have to do what everybody else is doing, but we will see the successes and failures of the people that go in front of us and be able to craft something good for Grafton. I will also say that in working with Ms. Freed, she is a definite subject matter expert in cannabis. So very happy with our interactions so far, and I think she'll really be helpful in us navigating these next pieces.
Awesome.
Because they are complicated.
Good.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so, moving along, select board reports?
Not even close to it. Sorry,
Nope, go
Madam
ahead.
Chair.
Mhm.
EEA is Economic Empowerment Priority Applicant.
Okay.
I
Thank
don't
you.
know how you forgot that.
Yeah, right.
It's not even close to what
Because
I
they keep
was gonna-
changing these things,
Yes,
the
it was.
acronyms.
Yeah, it is hard to keep up with the acronyms.
Ask Christie why she's here. I don't know if she's here for something. Christie, you're not?
Okay.
All right, you
All right.
just,
So, well, we'll get to public comments.
I don't want you hanging around.
Any other, any select board reports?
Madam Chair.
Mr. Jefferson?
Last Wednesday, I had the privilege of attending the Girl Scout Gold and Silver Awards at Mechanics Hall. Grafton had 5 recipients. There was 1 gold and 4 silvers. These are like a cumulative endeavor that the young ladies go through and work towards larger projects. The gold award winner created a series of fine motor skill activities that could be used for younger, kindergarten age children. The other silver winners came up with some pet ownership kits. They made some fleece blankets and bed pads, some dog toys, and put together new pet owner kits that some of which were distributed at Tony's Pet Oasis. It was a really great show. I'm gonna geek out about it a little bit. Seeing not just what the talented people from Grafton had done, but other towns and the way they chose to, invest their time in these town projects. And I think equally important and something that was hit on that night is they tend to train downward to the younger, Girl Scout troops and stuff, so that those traditions continue on, and it's not just like a one and done effort. Also attended the ribbon cutting at Norcross Playground last Friday. Playground filled up, got real packed right before we were getting ready to open. A lot of kids out there having fun. I got there a little bit early. There was nobody there, so I did a little QC, went around, hit all the noisemakers, spun stuff just to get a feel for it. It's really an impressive playground. It's been a long time coming. There's been a lot of work that's gone into it. Hope residents are able to get out there and further enjoy it. And the other thing I get to do last week, I was invited to attend the drag lunch at the senior center last Friday. It was sold out. There were no additional seats available. There was the JJ Electric sponsored the show and a luncheon afterwards. The seniors in attendance had a great time. It was a first for me. I was surprised to learn that for the majority of them, it was not. They had been to other drag shows and lunches before, but it was great. And thank them for inviting me.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? I attended, I should have said it last week, it was the previous week, the trustees of Soldiers and Sailors Memorials, my first meeting with them. Seems like a really great group. One of the things that we discussed was the project that the Finance Committee just approved. And yeah, just I didn't go to the opening for the park, but thrilled. I was a super park proponent, and I want to thank the Recreation Commission, the previous Recreation Coordinator, and in addition to Adam, and even the previous Super Park Committee. That it's great to have something like that that's central, and as you said, build it, and certainly they will come. We know that about these big parks, so that's great. Okay, moving on to Town Administrator report.
Yeah, so I am going to share my screen, but this is exactly as it was last week.
Cupola?
Huh?
Even-
No, I
even
fixed cupola.
Oh, good.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I'm proud of myself.
We have a meeting like once a week, so it's a lot of
There's not a lot. This is still municipal government. Not a lot changes one week to the next. So we're still on track with all of our DPW projects, including Main Street. Paving projects have not really taken off. They will in July. You'll start to see a lot of movement out there. We are going to try something different, and I mentioned this last time too, I guess, is that we're going to try to put out word to those specific roads that are going to be paved at least 2 days in advance, so that residents have time to plan. Obviously.
Screen share. I don't think
Oh
you
my
can share
gosh.
right now.
It's okay. It was there for a minute, and then it's gone.
Come on, Will. Something.
It seemed like you knew what you were doing. I wasn't going to call you out.
He's watching for hands on Zoom.
Sorry. Took me like 40 clicks to get there. Yeah, so anyways, we're going to try to give people at least 48 hours notice, as long as the town has gotten 48 hours notice. It may be shorter if we get slotted into a schedule and we can do some paving. We're going to take advantage of that.
Is there any way to post that? Like, I mean, I'm sure it's posted somewhere in
The list?
Yeah.
We are going to do, yes. Short answer is yes. We're hoping to get a little bit better schedule so we can give a general time frame, because we don't even have that. It's basically like, we'll call you when we're coming, and that doesn't really work. It'd be great to say, like, this is what we project for July, and if it rains, we'll change the list, but I think we can be doing a better job of notifying people well in advance of these are the ones. I also want to update the board, actually, this fall we will be doing an asphalt management plan. We've already got that in the queue, so we'll be redoing our 5-year asphalt management plan.
Just along with that, I think that previously, even if it was just a list, I think we used to have it up here. It wasn't dates at all. It was just like, these are the 10 streets in like an order of some sort, and there's
The problem that I saw with doing it that way is that we leapfrogged a whole bunch of stuff, and then it fell apart really quickly, and then people were anticipating that their road was in 25 and it didn't happen until 26. I think we can do that. I think we need better data, and we need to stay on top of it better. I don't think we've done a very good job of that, to be honest with you, which is why I added that to this slide. And we just need to redo the asphalt management plan, and then push that information out, and then keep that information as a living document instead of just parking it on the website, and then as it changes, we never go back and update it, because that seems to be what we've been doing. So yeah, all of the above, yes, we gotta communicate it better, we can put a list out, and just do it better all the way around. Regional Communication Center, we had our kickoff meeting. Oh, it still says tomorrow. I apologize. We had it last week, and it was a great meeting. This was our first real meeting with the OPM. We are targeting early fall to select an architect, to then start putting together some actual renderings and some other details. But it was great. We were able to sit down with a technology consultant, as well as project manager and whoever the project manager's boss is. So it was good. and I think we're making some progress. So I'm pretty excited about that. Norcross, Andy already discussed it. That was a great grand opening. I thought it was great that you're Andy. Adam selected a child out of the, asked for a volunteer and let a kid cut the ribbon while also standing there with the 12-inch. You didn't just let him go nuts with it. But no, I thought it was well attended. It was great. It was really good to see the kids in there. And I have been paying attention since then, and that park has had a lot of people in it. And it seems like everybody's really enjoying it. So that's always good to see. Carpet, we just met with the library director yesterday. We're still looking about 6 weeks out on that. There's no updates on any of these since we met last week, and then there's no changes to ARPA as well. I did want to do one other thing though, Madam Chair, before we go. I did get an email this week regarding Mary Murray. She is our admin in the sewer department upstairs. I had a resident email me to tell us that he received fantastic customer service. He was dealing with a very complicated billing issue. She went above and beyond to help him rectify that and got him in front of the sewer commission and got that all sorted. So he took the time to write a nice email, and I appreciate it because otherwise we don't know that these things occur. So
Great. Anne Marie, just one thing on the getting back to the paving. How many of those portable signs do we have? The ones where
2.
We have 2. Might be nice to just tuck one, like on Chestnut or Pigeon Hill,
Yep.
or like some of the people are coming and going, even if it's for a few days. I know we probably don't know the exact schedule.
no, but I think once we know the schedule, we can, once we know they're coming next Tuesday, I think, boom, we put that sign out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
If we have them, as long as
My plan, my plan is yes. I think it's all of the above. It's that, right? And then it's also, I can select on the map that entire neighborhood and send a text to every single person in that neighborhood to say, next Tuesday, we're going to be paid. And we're not using that nearly enough, the program that we already have.
Great tool, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not, we're not blasting out to the whole town that you don't go up Pigeon Hill, you don't really care.
Right.
But the people in the neighborhood certainly do. It's not really a cut through, but the people that live there. So that's our plan.
Yeah, great.
So we can definitely do it better.
Okay, thanks. I'm moving on. Correspondence. Anyone want to highlight any correspondence?
I would, Madam Chair.
Yep, Mr. Jefferson.
Thank you. We have a correspondence in here from the town administrator outlining how he feels the Cable Oversight Committee should run. That was sent to both the committee and the department head. I don't know how much people would be prepared to discuss this tonight, or if it's something that we'd want to revisit. Or even how much to get into this particular topic. But I guess for my part, I would ask that the board review it and hopefully express agreement with the language that Evan sent over and how we feel the Cable Oversight Committee should be executing itself as they are right now. I watched, they had a meeting last night that I reviewed. There was some hesitancy. A few of the members questioned whether the Oversight Committee should come back to us for some clarification on this memo that was sent out. Some of the other ones didn't want to do that and preferred that rather than asking us, they tell us what they think that interpretation should be. Whereas Evan, has to deal with this on the departmental side. I was hoping that we could, kind of lockstep and be in agreement with him on the committee side as to how we would like to see them conduct themselves. In watching that meeting, it still seems like there's a big difference between oversight and cooperation. the oversight committee is emphatic in what they want and what they need. But it's really getting right down into the weeds of operations as well. And in watching that meeting, the summary was that there was a need for that a long time ago when Charter was running the facility. Things have changed now that that's been taken on internally by the town. But that committee seems reluctant to embrace that change and some of the stuff that goes with it. Again, I don't know what everybody's comfort level is in extending the discussion tonight, or if it's something you'd want to come back to. But there does seem to be some unrest in that committee. We've talked about it a couple times here already. It's something I think is in our best interest to try and smooth out and move past and get them back onto a productive path.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Allen.
I'm totally up for the conversation. I probably need to do a little bit more due diligence to be, a good contributor tonight. But I think it's a great idea. So maybe we could put it on the agenda for the next visit here, the next meeting?
I mean, would we want to look at the charge? Is that?
Do we want
I
to bring
haven't looked
anybody
at
in?
it. So I know they were here.
Yeah.
We talked about the charge
Yeah,
a bit.
Yeah, they didn't.
So in my opinion, it has less to do with changing the charge itself and more of a clear definition of roles and responsibilities. I heard a lot in that conversation in the most recent meeting that they want to cooperate, but it doesn't, the oversight committee, and they want it to be a collaborative process. But having watched some of their past meetings, it doesn't always seem like they're in favor of that. When the department head comes in with an idea that, for one thing, they are emphatic that it be directed towards what they see as a solution, and there doesn't seem to be any compromise.
Who's the chair?
Mr. Hassinger.
Okay. Did they just recently reorganize, or that?
They'll be reorganizing it next month at the next meeting.
Okay. I mean, we talked about having various boards come in, not the entire board, but just having like updates from boards, because we haven't typically done that. Do we want to put them second in the queue? Not them, but again, have the
Sure.
chair come in, and we can at least get a report from the chair, and maybe start to broach a little bit of this.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with Mark. I think it's, I'd like to get a little bit more detail. I haven't watched one of their meetings and read through Evan's recommendations again and see. But this is something that we should be doing, right? We need to give committees that we appoint guidance from time to time. And it's their committee to run. We appoint them. It's their show. No pun intended with the cable. But, and all committees are like that. I went through something with the Board of Health years ago and learned the hard way, that it's theirs to run once you appoint them, right? But I think it's good, and they should be here. If we're going to talk about them, they should be in the room, and we'll have that discussion. And so I think it's a good idea.
Thank
So
you.
why don't we put them, again, as we're doing, I think the next one was going to be the Lake Quinsigamon committee, so it'll just be something like that, and then we can kind of see what evolves.
Sounds good.
Okay, great. And anyone else, sorry? The Grafton Upton Railroad, I think that, is this something that we can just put on your tickler, and that perhaps there's not an update for 4 or 6 months, but at least we are having an opportunity to say, hey, if we had any communication, are we building any bridges there, what's going on?
No, that's a great idea, and I actually think maybe the previous chair asked me to do that. Now that you say that,
Well, I think I've been asking for.
oh, maybe it was you. Yeah, I can certainly do that for the next one. Yes.
I've just been asking for like an
Yeah.
Can we get
No.
something? Okay.
Yeah, I can certainly do that.
All right, I think Mr. Carroll probably appreciate it too.
Yes.
Where are we? Correspondence. There's no resignations, and any public comments? Yep, come on up. Cheryl, right?
Sherilyn Reno, 89 Keith Hill Road. This isn't so much a public comment as a public invitation. The Unitarian Universalist Society of Grafton and Upton is sponsoring Reading Frederick Douglass Together on July 5th at 6 o'clock on the Common. I don't believe there's another select board meeting to announce this at between now and then, so I thought I'd get up and do it this evening. if there is rain, we'll still have the event. It will just be in the Unitarian Church.
Okay, great. Thank you for mentioning that. And we are meeting on the 2nd. It'll be a short period, but maybe if you could get a little bit of information to Amber, and we can
Yeah,
put that
I have
in.
the flyer. I actually have it in the July 2nd announcement. Oh, we had a lot on tonight.
Sure.
I didn't include it.
Yep.
Great, thank you.
We can,
Yeah, it'll definitely be.
I saw the sign in the comment. I've seen some advertising for it, yeah. Anyone else in the room? And, Nick? Oh, sorry.
I'm in the room.
Oh.
I do have it's more of a, it could be a public, I didn't know where to put this. It's in the public comment
Give
section.
us your name and where you live.
So Mark Alamo, 16 Christopher Drive. This Grafton Water District is another incident that happened, and in the same spirit of having folks come in and talk about stuff, maybe get a sense. I know they're independent, but could we have a conversation with them? I know you were kind of the representative from Select Board, and the reason why I say that, Andy, and everyone, is because this is it seems like a relatively benign incident, but when you get this in the mail, you wonder what's going on. It happened before, and just in the spirit of reassuring folks that are getting this that things are cool. I don't know what the next move might be, because we haven't had them in, right? We haven't had them come in and
Not in
talk
a
to us,
while.
but you've
we
gone
did
out
for
to see them.
with that Article 97
Yep.
process
Right.
that we were undertaking, but that's pretty much it.
But this wouldn't be
I don't know
this
that
wouldn't be
I've
like
seen
a
that.
like a dispute or an argument. This would be more about just to double check and make sure the parts that they needed are in place and everything's cool. So
Can I ask where you got that?
I got it today.
I got it in the mail.
Oh, okay, today.
I haven't
Yep.
seen it
I
yet.
didn't read through it, I just glanced.
Yeah, there's a
Is it PFAS or is it like bacteria or something?
so some part of the monitoring equipment failed. One of the procedures failed. I actually I don't want to overspeak or say anything that didn't happen, but there was a bump and it affected some of the quality of the water. They're saying corrective actions are being taken, have been taken, but I do think that since we've already had this happened 6-8 months ago, something happened with the GWD, and it was good to talk about that here in this venue, in this meeting with our folks tuning in, because people were asking us about this, and then people did come in, and then those folks that came in and that we discussed it with left the room feeling reassured, thanking us for at least having the conversation.
Okay. Yeah, we can ask Matt if you might want to just drop in, even just for a general update, because we got the PFAS thing.
Again,
with the
not an
treatment
argument,
building.
not contentious, just to reassure everything.
Yeah, yep.
Anyone online, Will?
There are no hands on Zoom.
There you go.
Okay. And there are no meeting minutes, so I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Is that
Second.
possible? Yes.
So, one question.
Sure.
I got
while
it,
we're,
Sandy.
commenting here. So the next meeting is July 2nd.
Correct.
We have like real business to do then, like stuff that needs to get voted on to keep the town moving?
I mean, there's a decent
Just a
agenda.
question.
Yeah. No, there's some real stuff on there.
Okay.
If
It's
we
worth
can,
asking the question.
keep it moving.
We can always review with the chair and
Sure.
see if it's necessary, but I think there's some stuff on there that may not be able to wait.
I'm not sure.
All right, we can, I
We'll,
can
we'll
look into
review
that.
and get back
Yep,
to you.
Yep,
Yeah.
because I know that, the 16th looked like it was late, but, so we can
Yeah,
look
the
at that.
16th, we have a public hearing, so that one has to stay, but we could meet on the 9th instead, but I think that you guys said you'd be out of town on the 9th when we were talking about doing the goals meeting.
Yeah, and I just got my date, it's the 8th, so I won't be out of town on the 9th, but I also probably won't be here. All right, well, we can look at it, we
Yeah.
can
Just
look
a
at the
thought.
2nd and see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Canada Day is the day before, so I can imagine that you've got stuff going on.
What's the day? Canada's Day?
Canada Day.
Canada.
Oh,
I'm
right.
such
Cannabis
Bastille
Day.
Day.
Canada Day.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion to adjourn?
Aye.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, we are considered adjourned.
Is this